What's good, your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back with Box Clinic and more. And back again. Don't forget we turned the post fight, reaction into a podcast. I'll leave that link in the description for the brothers, for the Spence and Peterson, so you can listen to it on the go. And the podcast link will be in the description. Reviewing the Easter and Fortuna last night. I had Easter winning by a point. The point deduction was, big in the second round. And me and Steve Harhood had, two different rounds. The third round and 10th round was the determining factor. And a lot of people believe Fortuna won the fight, called it a robbery. That was in my opinion. I gave Bunny by one, but I could easily see it going Fortuna way. Close fight, it's not a robbery. But Jamel Charlo thought, Fortuna won. A lot of people thought Fortuna won last night. Definitely looks different in arena from on camera. But some people's scorecards was served. Like, I seen one guy have a 10 rounds to 2 for Fortuna. I mean, a lot of people got a lot of hate for Robert Jr., man, because of Broner. And he didn't help himself last night. But, basically, I'm going to tell you this. Most people, don't know how to score for real. Me and Steve Farhood's scores was very similar, except for those 2 rounds. And, you can't give a guy a round for fighting the last 40 or 30 seconds, the last minute of a round. And Fortuna did that a lot last night. Robert Jr. was the more aggressive. He might not have been completely more effective, in the beginning of the round, but he fought the full 3 minutes. Fortuna was fighting the last minute and 40 and 30 seconds of the round, trying to shoot shine and steal the round. And a lot of people just don't want to acknowledge that fact. But Robert Jr., he didn't use his height. When he stuck behind his jab early in this fight, it was an easy fight for him and walked Fortuna into some shots. Fortuna was walking and circling right into his right hand. He had circled away from his right hand, but when Fortuna was walking into his right hand, he would do a cool little move and try to punch and come immediately back to Robert Jr. left hand. Robert Jr. didn't use the right hand effectively. He threw it, but he stuck the jab out there, but he refused to use his height. After like the second or third round, this guy started closing distance and fighting like Paul Williams again and giving Fortuna opportunities like this to shoot shine and punch him. He made this fight harder than what he had to make it. Like my boy Damon said, if he uses height, he wins this fight easy. But, it's time to stop, saying Robert Jr. height is an issue, because it's not. And, yeah, I was wrong about, him, potentially, matching up with Linares and the rest of the fellas, Garcia and Lomachenko. I do think they still a little tentative because of his height. But after watching this, he just refuses to use his height. It's not his team. His team and his coach, his dad and Mike Stafford is telling him, use his height, use your height. Stick behind a jab, but he's just not disciplined enough to stick behind a jab, and that's gonna be his undoing. He ain't gonna be world champion for too long. He should give Javier Fortuna a rematch. But he said, he don't get up for fights like this. He wants to fight the Mikey Garcias. He's tired of fighting the small fights and prove his worth. But like I said, if he's not gonna use his height, it ain't no point. He uses his jab, but he won't stick behind. He won't stay behind his height and his speed and his power and his ability. So, Fortuna, had a lot of success last night, even backing on the ropes. He had the shorter arms. He was getting home to Robert Jr. And Jr., just wouldn't use his height. I mean, that was the story of the fight, but I think he was more active for the complete 3 rounds and more of the rounds. And that was my point. I didn't like Fortuna trying to steal the rounds at the end. I don't reward, 10 or 20, 30, 40, or 50% of fighting, or 30% of fighting through the rounds. Robert Jr. fought and was active through the whole round. Fortuna was just trying to steal rounds for the most part. But he had a lot of success, and he hurt Robert Jr. several times in this fight. But, Robert Jr. turned a lot of people off yesterday, saying that he don't get up for fights like this. He want Mikey Garcia. And the apple don't fall far from the tree, because he sounded just like Adrian Broner, And it looked like it's just the thing that it's just a thing. That's just how they talk and how they feel. Even though at the subpar performance, he feeling confident and cocky, when he need to be feeling humble and be trying to get better, in my opinion. But this kid is a walking loss, in my opinion. Robert Jr., we gone.